Welcome to your 2-Minute Manager Toolkit. Today's one's an intense one. Today's one is a real self-reflection, real dig into that back of your brain and see what's there. Because today I'm asking you the question, are you accidentally becoming your dad or are you choosing to? Are you accidentally becoming your parent or are you choosing to become your parent? Curious? Let's go. Today's episode is not much fun for you. So therefore, I've got to make this episode not so much fun for me. Because what we're going to get to at the end is you looking upon yourself and trying to decide how much you should or shouldn't be like your father and or your mother. And that's intense. That's a lot to ask. So I'm going to have to start off with talking about me, talking about my journey down that pathway. And I'm not going to enjoy it any more than you, but like going to see counseling, it's not fun, but it is medicinal and it is useful. So here's the cold hard reality for me. I find it disturbing how my father, who's passed away now, talks out of my mouth. That's frustration and it's weird. Because of doing these podcasts, I've also come off doing a series of videos. I had to spend a lot of the time listening to my own voice. But it's not just the voice, it's the cadences. It's where I put the pauses. And it's twice as bad when I'm watching the video. I can see the mannerisms. I can see the tics. I can see the twitches. So that's my hard pill to swallow in this phase. Now let's turn the camera on you. Let's turn the spotlight on you. And I'm going to ask you the question, how often and when have you found yourself sounding like your parent? This could be your mother. This could be your father. This could be your step-parent. And it isn't necessarily biological. It's environmental as well. Who raises us? We really imprint a lot of the behaviors and patterns and habits from them. You might really like your parent, or it could be the opposite or somewhere in between. We know this happens, but when does it happen the most? Have a think about that. Let me give you the answer. The answer according to me, the gospel according to me. We see and feel and hear these things when we are in unfamiliar situations, in new environments, probably for two reasons. One, we are more self-aware of ourselves in new environment, in new situations, when we are having to deal with something that we either don't deal with very often, haven't dealt with for a long period of time, or is entirely new and novel to us. So there is a perception factor here. We are more self-aware of ourselves in new environment than we are just walking around. We don't think of ourselves in our environment, except for when we don't know how we're going to react either. The other side of it is subconsciously we reach and stretch for examples. We find ourselves in a new situation. Our subconscious does that little Filofax thing to go, whoa, how should I deal with the situation? What would my dad have done here? What would my mother have done here? Those sorts of questions come up. And that's the type of thing that our brain will do. They will reach for an example and go, that'll do. And they'll go with that. It's not a bad thing. It has some limitations. It's definitely a very cringeworthy thing as we find ourselves mimicking our parents. But as a mechanism, it's extremely useful. It's one of the many things that makes humans so amazingly adaptive to new environments. We figure out very quickly what to do in difficult situations. And this is just one of many mechanisms that we have that our subconscious has at its disposal to deal with this. So, yes, cringe, but super helpful. But these super efficient systems that our brain has, that our subconscious has, that our type 1 thinking leaps to really quickly, has its limitations. And probably the biggest limitation is that we are not making a choice. This is not our choice. We are doing this by default, by accident, by happenstance, rather than deliberate action. This is one of my favorite secret sources when it comes to training managers. And this is a cheap aha moment that I can put in their brain and them go, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about that way. But now that you've said that, gosh, aren't you clever? This is one of those cheap aha moments in which I say to people, you're just starting down this pathway. This is your opportunity to be a manager, to be a leader, to be a boss, to be someone in charge by choice, not by accident. You get to design. If you stop and think rather than just accidentally default, you get to decide what type of boss you are, not accidentally become the type of boss of role models that you didn't deliberately choose but are convenient to you. I.e., choose to be the boss that you want to be. Don't just be your dad. Don't just be your mother in these situations. And I've never had someone not go, oh, wow, that's really intense. I hadn't thought about that way. Yes, I want to choose who I am, not accidentally have it chosen for me, even though it's the back of my brain doing the choosing. So that's a big picture idea that we should always be thinking about. Let me give you something specific for you to think about. There's so many different scenarios, so many different factors that you need to think about. So let's just pick one and go with that. And that is the question of thank you. There's so many different ways in which we can reward people in the workplace. There's recognition, there's praise, there's certificates, there's everything and anything that people have come up with to say, hey, good job, well done. But the tool that we always have in our toolbook is thank you. But can you say thank you too much? Can you say thank you too little? Because you can, can't you? You've got that boss who never says thank you, the boss who never shows any form of gratitude or appreciation for a normal day's work, for an extraordinary act, for going above and beyond, that it's the effectively squeezing blood out of a stone to get a thank you out of them. That's saying thank you too little. But on the other hand, we have that person who says thank you too much. Thanks for this. Thanks for that. Good job today. Well done. Thanks. And it's every other sentence, every other word. That becomes a little bit ho-hum, a little bit banal, a little bit wallpaper. It just fades into the background. With so many things in the human condition, the more you hear it, the less you value it. So here is the question that you need to think about. How much are you saying thank you? How much should you say thank you? Are you a not very often kind of person? Are you a tough crowd to please? Or are you free-flowing with your appreciation with a very low bar to make people feel valued? Are you somewhere in between? And the final thing I want you to think about is that it's not all about you. In your style, in your environment, what would they prefer? What is the best fit for them? Thank you a lot, thank you a little, or middle of the road thank yous. Because it's what works for you, what works for them, is what we want to do. We want to choose rather than accidentally decide. Thank you for listening. I did promise it was going to be intense. I did promise it was going to be introspective. I did throw my hat in the ring as well and put some of my cards on the table there as well. Nothing too intense. Hopefully you found that useful. Hopefully it's just enough to make you think about making conscious choices rather than accidental unconscious choices. As always, have a look at our website, Pragmatic HRM, for the different services and courses that we offer. If not a problem. Just share us, repost us, like us, anything like that that lets other people get these ideas for free to spread the wisdom around. Otherwise, thanks for listening.